Hello, welcome to the channel. It is I, Chris with a K. I hope everyone's well. So, have you ever noticed that almost every major crisis today already looks cinematic? Like perfect camera angles, for example, or instant media responses, or scripted sounding press conferences, social media narratives fully formed within minutes. And when people question it, they get mocked. But then you discover companies like CrisisCast, and suddenly the line between simulation and reality starts looking a little blurry, because this is not some fringe operation hidden in a basement somewhere. This is a professional organisation openly advertising realistic disaster simulations, complete with psychologically trained role players. Battlefield effects, amputee actors, media manipulation drills, and government-linked clients. Their own website says that they simulate crisis incidents for police, military, emergency services, hospitals, schools, airports, and local authorities, government agencies, and private security firms. Read that again carefully. Simulated crises, roleplay actors, behavioural psychologists, media training, social media response drills, film crews, military advisors. And this isn't a theory, they openly advertised it. Now, before the usual crowd jumps in screaming, "Debunk conspiracy theory," slow down for a second. Nobody is denying that governments and emergency services train for disasters. The question is different. At what point does simulation culture begin influencing public perception of reality itself? Because CrisisCast doesn't just train people to respond to emergencies, they train organisations to manage narratives around emergencies too. And according to their media crisis management section, they create high-pressure digital communication exercises involving social media storms, filmed content, press simulations, and strategic communications training. So now we're not just talking about fake injuries and actors screaming in mock terror, we're talking about rehearsed media environments. That kind of matters, especially in a world where perception often becomes reality before facts are even verified. And then just look at the client list. The UK Home Office, Kent Police, National Counter-Terrorism Security Office, the Ministry of Defence, NHS organisations, airports, security firms, universities. Again, this is all public. One section even explains that they can deploy hundreds of actors with prosthetics, pyrotechnics, battlefield simulations and mass casualty scenes. Another section proudly discusses amputee actors being used to create ultra-realistic trauma training scenarios for military environments. Or for the BBC, Sky, Channel 5, ITV News. And honestly, some of it reads more like a Hollywood production company than emergency preparedness. Professional film crews, special effects, aerial footage, psychological scripting, immersive environments. Now here's where it gets a little bit Most people still operate under this old assumption that fake events would require secrecy. But modern systems don't work like that anymore. Today, much of it is hidden in plain sight, as we know. Training drills are public, simulation companies are public, media management systems are public. The only thing that remains controlled is interpretation. You're allowed to see the machinery as long as you never connect the dots. And once you realise that governments, military structures, behavioural psychologists and media trainers all collaborate with inside simulated disaster environments, you start understanding how powerful engineered perception can become. Even Reddit discusses about crisis actors accidentally revealing something interesting. Many people correctly point out that crisis role players absolutely do exist for drills and training exercises. because they do. That's not speculation anymore. The debate has shifted. The real question is this: how often are simulations happening around real-world events? 9/11, lockstep. I know there's so many more that I just can't think of at the moment, but let's face it, it happens all the time. And how closely do media narratives mirror training scenarios? And could populations eventually struggle to distinguish authentic crisis from rehearsed response theatre? Because that's where this becomes important. Once societies become permanently immersed in fear, crisis, emergency, panic and psychological conditioning, populations become easier to control. Fear bypasses logic, shock creates compliance, confusion creates dependency, and media saturation keeps emotions permanently elevated. Now, in the words of Graham Moore, let's be completely clear. There is no verified evidence that CrisisCast stages real-world attacks or fake mass casualty incidents for public deception. But there is an undeniable evidence that sophisticated industry exists around simulating crises, training emotional responses, managing media narratives, and creating hyper-realistic disaster environments. That alone should make people think more carefully. Because decades ago, the average person wouldn't have considered this type of infrastructure possible. Today, it has a corporate website, and maybe that's the strangest part of all, because the world no longer hides the stage props. They just trust that most people will never look behind the curtain.
Are you an elite? Are your staged attacks not going as planned? Are your globalist agendas failing because you're using subpar crisis actors? Well, then look no further. Hi, I'm Harrison Hanks, the ultimate crisis actor. Need a medical doctor? In 18 years as a medical examiner, I've never seen anything like it. You need a grieving husband? Did a right-winger set off a bomb? Right, yeah, we're just milling about over there. Had a massive explosion. Then I'm your man. I'm green screen ready, bonded, and insured. I can morph into 1,000 different faces. I offer reasonable rates, and I have no conscience. Just pick your card to play on the world stage.
From homeless to police officer, from doctor to witness, to your ace card, the grieving father.
You can count on Harrison Hanks to push through your agenda. Regain their trust. Call Harrison Hanks for all your crisis needs. Thank you, and good luck.
Let me know what you think in the comments. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.